Hey everybody, this is Professor Jason Snart. I'll be your instructor for our English 1102 course in the first 8-week session here in the spring 2016 term. My voice is a little raw. I've had a cold like it seems like everybody else has, but I thought I would just do this quick kind of video welcome and also to get the ball rolling for the various units that we'll be working through. I do quite a bit of these throughout our course. But most of the videos that I do will actually be screenshots of our course. So I'll walk us through kind of like links that we'll be looking at or work that we'll be doing, examples and that kind of thing. So these aren't meant to be obviously really formal. They're certainly not video lectures that you need to, pay attention to for informational purposes. Mostly what I do is, again, just kind of to say hi and be an actual face and a person for you guys taking the class. And to sort of remind us of things that are already in the course, like due dates or important examples to look at or activities that we're doing. So again, I hope that you'll watch these. I hope that you'll appreciate them for the way that they maybe sort of humanize the online course experience a little bit. But they're not obviously, again, meant to be really formal or lecture-based type things or super time-consuming. So I'll try to keep them relatively brief. Okay, so again, normally as we move forward, I'll capture my screen, so I'll actually click us through a couple of things, but I want it to be more of a person the first time. So you may be checking into our course a little bit early. The official start date, just because of the way the calendar worked out for this term, is actually Saturday, which if you were taking a face-to-face class that met, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, it wouldn't really matter what the so-called official date is. You just showed up to class on Monday. But for us, it technically does, start on Saturday, which is why I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. So I've opened our course up. I've sent a little welcome email or early welcome email to let everybody know. So hopefully you'll get that and you'll actually be into our course maybe early and you're watching this, or maybe over the weekend. But I think realistically, most people will probably be in and really ready to work or ready to move forward on the Monday. So wherever you're at is just sort of where you're at right now because of that somewhat awkward start on the Saturday. So you'll notice that our course has a fairly extensive menu. Hopefully it's relatively self-explanatory. One of the two things that I'm really concerned with in all my teaching really, but especially online, is to be like a human presence for you guys, so that as a student in the class you feel like I'm a real person, your classmates are real people, you're involved in this as a class, not just as an individual sending emails out to space somewhere. It can be a really kind of isolating and impersonal experience, and people tend to disengage. I mean, you just don't do as well in the class, or even if you do, it's not like a meaningful experience. The information doesn't really stay with you. So humanizing it and making it feel like you guys are part of a class is really part of the learning experience. It's not just for my own benefit. And so the other piece of that is I really work to make the course as, what I like to say, as transparent as possible. In other words, the course menu is laid out, the whole course is built, each unit leads into each next unit, the due dates. It all is meant to be as accessible and kind of immediately understandable as possible. Now you can imagine that that's pretty tricky, because what is obvious to me isn't maybe obvious to you the first time. What's obvious to one student isn't obvious to another student. So again, that's why I do a lot of these video check-ins to help you stay engaged and plugged in. A lot of video walkthroughs. So again, you're seeing me click through different places in our course because it's really important to me, again, that you have that sort of class community experience, but also that you're not stumbling over basic like orientation or navigation, or where do I find things, what are the expectations. So my goal is really to make it as clear as possible. That doesn't mean easy. The course isn't easy, or it's not designed to be easy, but your navigation of it should be easy. The technology shouldn't get in the way of you doing English 1102. In fact, ideally, after you get a little bit used to what's going on, you don't really notice the technology. You don't think of, where do I have to click? Oh, how does this, little tool work and all that kind of stuff. You're dealing with the content of the course. So, of course, I would really encourage you, if you're not doing so already, to take a look at the orientation material. It, again, provides a really nice, I hope, and clear walkthrough for like where things are laid out, how our course works. We have a series of due dates, which you can find by going into the due dates list. We work through a series of units. So again, this isn't really a work at your own pace or a flex class or anything like that. We move as a class through a series of pretty, distinct or discrete due dates. One thing that I'll draw your attention to, I've tried to highlight it literally in our course, but that we do a lot of discussion board work, so you're doing an initial post and then responding to other students. There's always going to be 2 due dates for that. So there'll be an earlier due date so that everybody gets a post in, right? And then a slightly later due date for doing the replies. There's nothing to say that you can't work, right, quicker than that within the context of a single unit, let's say. But the idea, again, is that if there's only one single due date, then some of the early posters are sort of held hostage a little bit, waiting for other people to post so they can respond. So we do have a bit of a staggered due date system for the units. A lot of our early units, and including this sort of stuff, is really just getting you oriented to the course, comfortable where things are, introducing yourself so that we do feel a sense of like being in this together. And then by units 2 and especially 3, we get into the actual content of the course. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short here. I'm going to cut myself off. Welcome you again to the course. Hopefully, by the end of it, if not very soon, you feel like this is a kind of engaging or sort of human enterprise, even though it's at a distance. And also that the course layout is relatively transparent. And importantly for you, that expectations are transparent. So again, a course isn't designed to be easy, but the expectation should be immediately understandable. Like, what are you required to do to show me that you've learned course material and can now apply it in whatever activity we're doing, whether it's a full-blown essay, a question in a discussion board, a basic quiz, any of that kind of stuff. All right. So hi again. Welcome. I will check in with everybody really soon. And by all means, be in touch with me if you do have problems within the course, or you notice just like basic typos or errors that might be hanging around there. I look forward to meeting everybody and certainly to engaging in the work of the actual course once we get into it.